Good morning. So I am finally getting around to doing a 200-hour review on my Kioti tractor. It's actually a little over 200 hours. I'll show you. So 218 hours. Also, to let you know at the beginning of the video, there's not going to be any action clips in this video, just for the sake of keeping it a relatively short video. Mainly I'm just going to be talking about the pros and cons of this tractor. So to get into it, this is a 2019 Kioti CK3510. It's hydrostatic, and it's the SE cab model, as you can see. A little bit of history about myself as far as equipment goes, so you know if my opinion is valid or well-based or not. So I've grown up around equipment ever since I was a little kid. I've operated equipment for a living, on and off, and currently still do. My dad has 2 Kubota tractors that I've spent quite a bit of time on. I've ran quite a few different pieces of equipment, so I have a good idea of what to expect a piece of equipment to do and what it should do well and shouldn't do well. So I'm just going to start walking around the tractor and talking about things that I do like about it. So this is how it came from the factory. The only option that I had added was the third function hydraulics up front. Otherwise, there's nothing that I added on. This was just what came with the cab model. One thing I really like, the visibility out of this is extremely good. The cab is very quiet and tight. Well, this is one thing I don't like. So I've hit my knee on this thing multiple times. I'm paranoid I'm gonna break that little switch off. I wish they just moved it up so that this doesn't, you can kind of see it sticks out. That could be improved upon. Small nitpick. This is another thing that was a pretty large deciding factor, is these pedals instead of a rocker style pedal, which is in most Kubotas, or actually every Kubota tractor I've ran has the rocker style pedal. Maybe the new Kubotas have this style instead, but this is definitely superior to the rocker style pedal. Especially the more hours you spend in one of these, the more you appreciate that style pedal. Here's the controls. It comes with dual remote hydraulics to your 3-point attachment. I really like that. It has heated glass, which I really like. That's just a factory option. I also like the design of this hood. So it actually functions as a pre-filter to your air filter, which is inside of there. This is actually sealed around, and so if you're mowing, like the chaff and all the debris from mowing gets blocked here before it plugs up your air filter. So I like that design. Also, the cab lighting package, this is just factory. I haven't updated the bulbs or anything, and I think it's very good. I like to plow at nighttime, and it is more than adequate for that. Another thing that I really like about this is the location of where you fuel up. So that's very easy to access compared to having it on the hood like a lot of tractors. It's up high, you're lifting a 5-gallon jug, spilling it on your paint, that kind of stuff. You don't have to deal with that on this, which I like. Another thing that quite a few tractors have, but I really appreciate it, is this control right there. So you can control your 3-point hitch up and down when you're hooking up the implements, which this in conjunction with these, I guess I don't even know what they call them, but it's kind of like a quick hitch style, or a quick adjust style. So those move in and out. So this is the easiest thing to attach your 3-point implements out of any small tractor that I've used. Normally you can get close enough that those arms can be extended. You can attach to it, and then you just roll backwards and it will push those arms back into the seated position. And it's very handy if you're attaching and detaching implements. Also, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but the remote hydraulics in the rear are very nice. As you can see, I definitely utilize those. This This mower is, I think, about 750 pounds, and the 3-point handles it extremely well. I haven't had any issues as far as, 3-point lift capacity, or even got close to, maxing out what it can lift with the 3-point. It does really well. So now for the things that I don't like, which there are really only 2 things that I don't like about this tractor. And for some people, it's a very large deal. For me, they're both more of just an annoyance. And both of them pertain to the valving. So the valving for the 3-point, the hydraulic flow control, and then the valving for the loader arms themselves. So it works extremely well if you are doing one function at a time for the loader arms. So if you're just going up and down, it's very fast. If you're just curling and dumping, it's very fast. But if you are trying to multitask, for one, it has a very small window of overlap where you can do 2 functions at once, compared to pretty much every other piece of equipment I've ran. It's more seamless if you're wanting to pick up and dump at the same time. It's a larger window in other pieces of equipment compared to this. It's a very small window, and it really slows down even if you're revved up with the tractor and your hydraulic flow is really quick doing one function, but you go to do 2 functions, like if you're loading something, picking up and dumping, which is a very common function, it really slows down if you're doing 2 functions at once. And it does it, I can do multiple functions at once and it will still do it. It just really slows down. And I don't know why that is. The hydraulic controls in some Kubotas that I've ran don't have that issue as much. And like I say, it will do it, so using this grapple, that's another function. I can, if I'm raking, branches and sticks back, I can curl the grapple and curl the loader arms and be, picking up the loader arms all at one time, and it has enough hydraulic flow to do it. It's just not as seamless as I would like and as I have experienced in other pieces of equipment. Especially skid steers and excavators are very seamless when you're multifunctioning, and this just isn't as seamless as I'd like, which could be a nitpick, but if you've ran other pieces of equipment and ran one of these, you may be a little bit surprised at that. Also, for what I do for the 3-point arms, it's not a huge deal, once again, but the valving for the 3-point arms is not as good as the valving on either of my dad's Kubotas. So I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's not continuously variable. So if you're picking up an implement, it's just on or off, so if the speed is fast and you want to pick it all the way up, fine. But if you're just trying to pick it up a little bit slowly, it will jump because it's just either going, like that valve is open, or the valve is closed. It's not partially open, so it slowly comes up. And yes, you can adjust how fast the 3-point arms go down. You can adjust that in the cab, which is nice. So you can make it so it's slow coming down, but there is no way to adjust how fast they come up. And there have been other people who've talked about this issue on these tractors. So if you're, doing something that has to be precisely picked up slowly with your 3-point arms, you will not like that. To me, it's annoying, but it's not a huge deal. When I pick up my mower, I just pick it up, and I don't try to vary it and go slowly, otherwise it'll just start bouncing and it's obnoxious. So I've learned to live with it. But it is good to know, if you're looking at this tractor, to do something precise with the 3-point arms out back. You may be disappointed in that. So those are my 2 largest gripes, the valving and the 3-point controls on the rear of the tractor, and then the valving for the loader arms. So overall, would I recommend this tractor after having it about 3 years and over 200 hours of use? I definitely would. I would buy another one when this wears out. The only issue I have had, which I made a quick video on as well, is I had a coolant leak from I think the heater core up above the cab, and which was just a simple hose clamp. I fixed it. Kind of an annoyance. It should have been done correctly from the factory, but not a big deal. For that many hours, that's the only issue I've had. I mean, I'm content with that. I think it's been a very good machine overall. And I would definitely recommend one of these to a friend you know, after running Kubotas and other small tractors, I think it's just as good or better in many areas than, you know, other large name brand tractors. So that's my experience with it for what it's worth. I really like this thing and have been super pleased with it so far. So I hope that helps in your tractor shop.